Connie Welshon here, talking about entitled customers and entitled employees. And we're going to start first with entitled customers. And yes, you are to blame for feeding that monster. And the reason why you fed that monster is because you were desperate and you were insecure. And we're going to break all that because you're not desperate and you're not insecure. And even if you are desperate and insecure, you're not going to portray that. You're going to come off as a cool cucumber that knows your stuff. So, when you have an entitled customer, and I don't want it to come across as I'm saying your customers are assholes, because they're not assholes. They are simply doing what you have allowed them to do before. And because you've allowed it to happen before, why not ask for it again? They have learned. You've taught them. So now you have to break it to them in a way that's not assholey, but in a firm way that you have grown, you have matured, and you now have new policies. Now, I only have one customer that gets to get away with a lot of stuff. And she actually is, even though she expects a lot from me, she's very polite and very kind about it. And she does give me the time necessary because she understands how much time it takes to do the things I do. And she has no problem. She will call me on a Friday and say, hey, by Tuesday, can you have this? And I'll pick it up. And my policy is you must pay before I bake. But with her, because she has never, ever steered me wrong, and she's cute as a button, I always do what she asks. And she is the only customer that I ever do this for. The rest of the customers have all had to follow the new rules and procedures, which are as follows. If you need something early and you haven't given me the 12 hours heads up, which I require, I'm going to charge you a 35% rush fee. If you need me to come in early or stay past our closing time, I'm going to charge you a $15 fee to start and $15 for every minute that I am waiting. Why? Because my time is valuable. I have grandkids I can spend time with. I have a husband I can spend time with. I could be working out. I could be sleeping in. I mean, whatever. That's my rules, and nobody really has a problem with that. I do a lot of rush cakes, and people are not having an issue paying the rush fees when they forgot or they dropped the ball, or they thought they ordered it but they really didn't, or surprise, their old baker suddenly can't do it and flaked out on them. Probably didn't flake out on them, probably just realized, hey, you're abusing the system. So it's okay. Just say, these are my new policies. In my shop, if you want a cake, a standard cake, it needs to be ordered by 2 p.m. the day before. If you want a custom cake, it needs to be ordered 2 to 3 days before it's necessary. And if it's by holidays or like graduations, that may not be enough lead time. I may still need to have 4 or 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, depending on how many cakes we get. So, procrastinators have learned that we're not the best option. If you and 10 other procrastinators all come in, somebody's going to get let down. That's just the way it is. Now let's talk about entitled employees. They're entitled because when you hired them, you were desperate for a couple reasons. Either you really, really needed the help because you were growing, or you really needed the help because you didn't know how to do what you're hiring them to do. But the problem is, you create entitled employees when you say, oh, you're a lifesaver. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do without you. This is such a miracle. You have no idea how wonderful you are. And you have really saved my ass. When you say that, they feel entitled. So they feel like, I can come in 15 minutes late. I can wear something other than the uniform. I can say whatever I want to say. I can do whatever I want to do. And nothing's going to happen to me because they need me. They love me. I'm special. And then you have a problem employee, which will, before too long, go all the way through your company and create a monster problem that you don't want to have. So if you have an entitled employee, which I had, and I was thinking, you know what, this chick is like pushing all my buttons. She's being snotty to the other employees, and she's coming in late, and she's calling off when we really need her, and I've had enough. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do fondant decorations myself. I didn't do fondant decorations, and I didn't really think that I would enjoy them, but I started playing around with them, and I was like, oh, this is actually fun, this is easy, and I can do it. And so I called her in after a couple of days of practicing and getting to the point where I feel like I can totally handle this. And I said, listen, we have a problem. You aren't coming in on time. You're talking down to the other staff. You're being obnoxious. You're calling off like 5 minutes before your shift. And you're not wearing the uniform when we ask you to. And we really need you to stop doing all these things and start doing them the way I'm asking you to do them, or you will be fired. And this is your only warning. We are not going to have a lot of conversations about this. This is the only warning you're going to get. So you have to straighten up, or you can leave. Those are your options. Well, she continued, so I pulled her aside and I had to fire her. Now, firing somebody is hard. Just like telling customers about new policies is hard, but the first time you do it, it's hard. Second time, not as hard. Third time, not as hard. Fourth time, you're a pro at it. You got it down. You'd be like Donald Trump saying, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. It'll be no problem at all. And you can even fire customers because sometimes they're not worth the headache. And you don't need somebody that keeps changing the design on you 5 times. You don't need somebody that wants you to send status reports on the cake every step of the way, because that will take more time out of it. And if you think for a minute that somebody's giving you a feeling and you're like, I'm not quite sure I want to take this deal, or I don't think this is the right person to hire, use your gut intuition and don't do it. Don't take that job, don't hire that person, because it'll be a headache later on. But if you should have to fire a client or a customer, here's how you do it. For a customer, you say, I really thought about what you were asking me to do, and I just simply don't think that I am the right baker for this job. I would love to be able to help you. However, I don't feel comfortable taking this job, and I don't feel like you will be happy with what I can give to you. So I'm going to refer you over to this person who can, in my opinion, do what you are wanting to do, and I think that you will be very happy with them. And I would like to thank you for considering me, and I really hope that you have a wonderful event, and I hope that everything works out really great. And in the future, maybe I can help you out with something else. So have a great day, and I hope that this is the right move for you. And you can kind of leave it at that. Now, if you have an entitled employee that you've had to fire, then you can say, and don't get into big discussions with them. Don't negotiate, no nothing. You say, listen, we've talked to you about this. These things didn't change, and now we have to end your employment with us. We hope that you have a great future somewhere else, and we hope that you are happy somewhere else. And, if you need a referral, you can always have them call us, and we will tell them what we can to further your career. But this is the end for us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment to us. And we hope that everything works out great for you in the end. And that's it. Get up and move away. Don't sit there when they start crying and say, what could I have done different? And how could I have changed this? And oh, can I just have another chance? Because if you fall for those tears, they're usually not real tears because they're sad. They're tears because now they're frustrated because they haven't had a chance to go get a backup job. And you will find yourself miserable. Believe me, I know. I've fallen for that. The reality of it is, if they threaten to quit and you beg them to come back, they will still quit and they will have a bad attitude. If you threaten to fire somebody and they beg and plead and you give them back their job, they will still quit and you will regret it, or you will still need to fire them again. It doesn't change anything. What you felt in the beginning is what you're going to feel in the end times 10. So just don't make that mistake. Nip it in the bud and say, I'm so sorry, it's time for us to part ways. I wish you all the best. And we really enjoyed our beginning time of working with you. And that's it. Don't get into a screaming match. Don't explain yourself to them. You don't need to. And the more you talk to them, the less power you have and the less status you have. So now they no longer are going to look at you respectfully and feel like, yeah, I really deserve that. They're going to walk out of there thinking, how dare they? Man, that's a good thing that they changed their mind, because I totally didn't deserve to be fired. And that attitude's going to come in. And if you argue with them, you like explain to them, hey, listen, I told you this all the time, they're going to be like, what a weenie. Didn't even like stand up for what they said. So obviously that wasn't the real reason why they wanted to fire me. There was obviously something else that they wanted to fire me about, and they're just making an excuse. That's not the real reason. So you don't want them to walk out thinking that you're firing them for something different, because that could also bring a lawsuit, because you might say something that you regret or say something the wrong way. State the facts. I'm sorry, we warned you. Now we can no longer work this way. We have to part ways. Wish you all the best. I hope you have a wonderful future. Thank you for your time. It was wonderful while it lasted. Thank you. Have a great day. And move on. Don't say anything else. Don't linger. Move on. Now, in the very beginning, the first time I had to fire somebody, I was so nervous. I was like almost feeling sick. I had to do this, and my husband was like, I can do this for you if you want. And my first inkling was, oh yes, please. But then I thought, it's my business. I really just got to be a big girl and just fire them. I had to fire some customers too. It wasn't pleasant, but some people just aren't a good fit, whether it be employees or customers. Doesn't make a difference. A good fit is a good fit, and a not good fit is a not good fit. So don't push something in that doesn't fit. If you have a circle and you're trying to put a square through, it doesn't work. So don't do that. Just do what you got to do and stick to your guns and know that you made the right decision for what needs to be done. And you won't have entitled employees, and you won't have entitled customers. You'll have wonderful employees and wonderful customers. So let's get moving. Break those cycles.